Well, hello everybody and welcome to Boss Rush here on this Friday afternoon. My name is Chris Melisinos. Oh, we'll go to that one instead. And I am the host of Boss Rush. You know, it wouldn't be Boss Rush if we didn't kind of stumble with something out of the gate. And even worse, because we are about to get into GDC and we are, oh my goodness gracious, we're all burning it at both ends, but yeah, which is why we're missing one of our co-hosts because Susan is going to be on a flight tomorrow to head from the UK over to GDC. Well. So anyway, oh yeah, and hold on because now we're going to hear that because let me see. Yeah, my laptop decided to go pick that up. See, like I told you, we're fumbling it all over the place. But again, I'm Chris. Good to see you all. Host of Boss Rush, and with me as always,
Dean Takashi. I'm editorial director at GameSpeed.
Yeah. And you got a lot of stuff going on, which you can't wait to talk about. And Mr. Who?
Hey, I'm Mark Delora. I'm a game developer and the exec director of innovation and growth at the GDC Festival of Gaming.
Yay! Yes, we're GDC right there. Woo! Cannot wait.
Which is Monday. I'm flying out tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. Matt here in the chat first jumped in and said GDC equals God damn it, Chris. Yes, you're right, buddy. You are right. Oh, my gosh. Yeah. All right. So before we jump in and talk about news, we're going to go and run this today for 90 minutes. Again, no, Dean, you are going to be slammed with stuff, so don't feel obligated to be here. Mark, same. But, you know, if you can stick around longer, great. I'm just going to be around and answering additional questions. And also, I don't know if we're going to get through all of our news and all of GDC today. But before we do that, how are you guys doing? How are you holding up with all of the GDC preparations?
Getting there. Probably busiest GDC I've ever had to do. Lots of different activities. GameSpeed has our own Crossfire event for a bunch of game-related debates on Tuesday. So getting ready for that. But also on a panel on game journalism with Jeff Grubb and Stephen Totillo and Nathan Grayson and Parent.
You know, Dean, you're giving away all of the tabs that I have opened for you. So don't tell me what you're doing at GDC. Tell me, buddy, how is Dean? Are you healthy?
I'm busy. I don't know what else to do or what else does that mean except I'm busy.
Like I said, you're like that, you know, from Zoolander, Hansel, you know, when he's being interviewed about what he's selling. He's like, yeah, you know, I'm a model and that's what I do. Why am I here? I don't know. What am I selling? I have no idea, but I'm here and I love it. Like, yes. I feel the same way, my friend. I don't know where I am. Just point me in the direction and I'll talk.
No.
Well, good. You sound better too. I know that you were a little under the weather before, so good that you're back. And by the way, Dean is, you know, I have been fortunate enough to not, now of course I'm going to jinx myself, right? To not gotten sick coming back from a variety of conferences. One of the things that Dean is excellent at doing, people go for that handshake. Dean always gives the elbow. And I'm like, that's right. That's the way you do it. Or for me, it's hugs, you know? For me, it's hugs, which is, you know, that's what you get when you show up. But Dean, I'm glad you're holding it all together, my man, and can't wait to see you next week. Mark, how are you, buddy?
I am busy and tired and never really got over my crud from DICE. So, oh well. Mostly over it, but still like coughing and waking up at way too early. And yeah. So.
Yeah. Well, you know, you just built up all those antibodies for the next conference. So
I hope so. Starting out tired isn't a good start.
Yeah, but you know what happens when you hit the show, it's the excitement of it and everything else, right? That we all get to jump into. So Yeah. But I feel the same way, actually.
You're right. Running off adrenaline. I'm going to try to take better care of myself.
Yeah. Adrenaline, Red Bull, and Rice Krispie treats. That's it.
Oh,
That's all you need. All you need. So
I don't know how it is that I never acquired a taste for Red Bull. Lots of people love it. I think the game developers, like the industry, runs off of Red Bull by and large, but not me.
They have well, here's the
Tea for
thing. They
me.
have a blueberry one.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Well, I heard they're
Yes.
going to be at, rumor has it, they're going to have a stand at GDC somewhere. So maybe I'll have to go see if I can try the blueberry one. Maybe it'll stick.
Oh, sure. So long as, they pay those union fees to be able to distribute Red Bulls.
To bring it onto the show floor.
Yeah. So I'll share a quick piece of GDC history with you. Back when I was at Sun Microsystem, when Sun Microsystem existed, we had a booth we had booths for many years there. But one year I decided to take all of these game APIs. We'd been working with GameSpy and a whole bunch of, if you remember GameSpy, right? Welcome to GameSpy. Where's my voice change there?
Welcome to GameSpy.
Right?
I don't remember that.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
That was their big announcer thing. Anyway, so I said, okay, I'm going to put all the GameSpy stuff in there. I'm going to put all this like Powerman 5000-esque type of music onto a CD. So I reached out to this band called Arocalypse and the Amazing Transmetropolitans. They said, sure, you can use our stuff. And then I took the cover. This comic book, there was this Spider Neo or Spider, I forget his name, Spider Jerusalem, something like that. Took his character, put it on there. And then I called the Balls Drink Company and got them to give me like 1,000 bottles of balls. And so if you showed up at our booth and you signed it, you got a CD-ROM with all your music, all your code, all your game codes, and all your caffeine to start coding. It was great. And we had people showing up all the time. And then the facilities came to us and said, no, you don't have, you do not have, the permit to do this. It's a union thing, blah, 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 blah. And I said, well, how much does it cost? And they said, it's $1 a bottle. And I pulled $1 out of my wallet. I said, we've given 1 bottle away. Everybody else that's walking around must have taken them. And they were just like, well, and I'm like, that's the story. And they were like, okay, you can't do that next year. Right? So I paid $1 to get out of union fees on the show floor. So hopefully Red Bull does a little bit. They can't do better than that. $1 for 1,000 bottles. But that's how you do it, by hook or by crook. So. And if everyone sticks around past the hour, I've got a second story about GDC Austin, and I was able to get an entire party at the Alamo Cinema Draft House for no money down. But we'll talk about that later too, on like a $15,000 tab. But all right.
I feel like you've been making too many YouTube videos. Stick around to the end.
Everybody stick around. Hey, make sure you smash that like and subscribe button, hit the alarm button so you know when we go live, blah, blah, blah.
Chris, how are you?
I'm okay. I'm good. There's so much going on at GDC, but it's my absolute favorite show. So, I always wind up doing way too much and overcommitting, but that's the job, right? If you're in the industry and you love GDC so much, I can't wait. My favorite conference of the whole year. I can't wait to do another Boss Rush with you all. One that we have scheduled now, which is, we'll talk about that shortly. And then we have a secret one that will be done late at night on Pacific time. And we'll go ahead and make sure that we get more information about that out to everybody on LinkedIn later. But yeah, that's it. I'm good. I'm good. I'm not ready to throw my bags on the plane yet. I got a ton of stuff to pack up, but it's a train without brakes, right? It's coming, so that's it. Just get on the train. Let's go.
I know. Yeah, I'm at the point now where I'm like, I don't think I've got enough clothes. I might just like not pack much, and then my first stop will be Macy's.
Yes. Every year around GC, I'm always like, man, I need to go get a couple of new shirts. My wife's like, you don't buy any clothing throughout the whole year. Why do you always wait before GDC? And I'm like, because it's the reminder of, oh crap, I wore all of this stuff last year.
Yeah.
Right?
When did I buy this shirt again? Oh
Exactly.
my God, I'm surprised this holds together. Maybe I should go get another one.
Exactly right. Exactly. Oh my goodness. All right. Well, that's it. We are feeling good. We're mostly prepared
Feeling good, feeling fine.
That's right.
Like,
And shipping on time, as our good
Shipping on
friend
time.
Rick Neal
There you
would
go.
say. Exactly. All right. Gentlemen, why don't we go ahead and jump into game news? So here we go. It's time for the Boss Rush game news. Oh, listen to that. What a wonderful, wonderful, and perfectly executed transition there. All right, let's talk about some of the big old things here. Dean, let's talk about GameSpeed Engage back for 2026.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Engage is one of our sort of sub brands here, and we've done these events at different places. We have something like the Summer Game Fest, where we're doing a side event, and that's one of the Engage events, and picking a few different other cities as well around the world where we show up and have a chance to gather some good people together and enjoy things just like we are doing next week with the Crossfire event on Tuesday, side event for GDC. So that's what they are.
Awesome.
Hey.
Yeah, very good. And sponsored by Exola as well. With the wonderful partners and of yours, actually, of so many, different events and things like that. So it's wonderful to see them continue to lean in and support all of that stuff. Really, really good. Love it, love it, love it.
But yeah, there was bigger news this week.
What's that?
There are a couple things.
Yeah, there are.
Tim Sweeney is a big one this week for sure.
What's your take on that? I feel like I only got the surface level on it. I haven't dived in.
Well, there are some very big things people don't realize maybe from the headline, which is Google and Epic settled their antitrust lawsuit this week.
Yeah.
At the same time, Google announced a bunch of policy changes that bring lower fees for game developers. The range of fees are going to be from, like, say, 10% to 20% instead of something more like 15% to 30%. On top of that, there is that 5% fee in there for using Google's Google Store Pay, and so if you choose Google's payment option, you still pay this 5% fee on top of those other fees. But you now have the choice of going with an alternative payment company, and for many developers out there, there's an existing policy with, say, the Epic Game Store, where they normally take 12%, but if you choose to go with an alternative payment provider on the Epic Game Store, you pay zero, right? You just pay only the maybe 5% fee that's going to your payment provider that is of your own choice. So that's a change. But the antitrust litigation, it ends worldwide. And I did an interview with Tim Sweeney yesterday. And one of the things he said is significant here is that if they were going to win, as they won in the US, and they still needed to win around the world, like they had maybe 30% of the win across all of Google Play in the world, to get antitrust victories in every single country where they could implement these changes, it was going to take another 5 years, right? And so what they now do with the settlement is they gain some of these benefits that they have in the US and make that go worldwide automatically. They end the litigation. Little known fact is Google is paying Epic's legal expenses for this entire 6-year journey that they've been on. So that everybody's talked about how crazy it was for Epic to do this, right? But when you put that in the equation, it actually turns out to not have been such a gigantic loss on Epic's side, right? And in fact, on the Google side, they've got a complete antitrust victory, really, in these ways. So so Tim was very, pleased and proud that they were able to sort of carry this flag for the industry and have a good outcome. Of course, on the Apple side, they didn't have as good a court outcome, and have only won on the front of allowing direct-to-consumer stores. But even that little crack is a big crack on the Apple side as well. And there's some litigation that continues there, but this may put some pressure on Apple, I think.
Yeah, I mean, my understanding, right? And please let me know if I'm wrong here. What Tim was always just really advocating for is just a fairer marketplace, right? Not that that they should own absolutely everything, but have the option, right, as a content creator and provider and a company that operates, right, those services, for the ability to just have a more reasonable economic relationship there. And so, yeah, this is, I think, a good step forward. Of course, the big platform holders still have massive infrastructure and people and technology and costs that have to be recovered as well, right? So I think this is really just, again, a positive step forward in opening up that marketplace for ideas, opening up opportunities for distribution and revenue. And, good on Tim for, supporting the industry and kind of being an advocate for that.
He pointed out one more benefit that happened as soon as they filed the lawsuit, right, which was about 6 years ago. Apple and Google voluntarily made moves to cut their royalties for the smallest game companies that were on their platforms, right? And so 98% of the developers, they make like 2 to 5% of the revenue on Google Play. And so like taking a 30% chunk away from them was, pretty onerous kind of relationship. But immediately after they figured this out, that, this is really not their battle. So they lowered the fees there from 30% to 15%. And so that happened after the Epic lawsuit started, right? And so so that was one of those unseen benefits that they got years ago.
Yeah, fantastic. All right, good.
What a great proponent for the industry Tim has been. I keep thinking, he, as a CEO, he was grew up as an engineer in our industry and now CEO of the company. He could just nope out and like hang out in the woods and work on projects and deal up the food chain with funders and things like that. But he keeps like fighting for the little guy.
Yeah.
And, fighting for him as well, fighting for Epic, fighting for Fortnite as well. But so much of the stuff that he does over and over and over again has this huge impact on just the broader industry. Like,
well, yeah,
what a great guy.
So yes, so not only that, awesome. we need to get Tim on here to talk to him, but not just the industry. How many acres of like wooded and mountain range did he buy as a preserve, right, for wildlife and stuff, just so we don't destroy those things? Like Tim is
fun note for our interview was, when I did the video interview with Tim, he was out in the woods.
Oh, that's so good.
That's awesome.
That's what we need to do is a hiking with Tim games podcast. And just like
I should
Kevin
mention,
Nealon's.
I totally forgot to mention, but Steve Allison, who's in charge of the Epic Games Store, is going to do a session with Matthew Ball in the Luminaries speaker track at GDC on Wednesday, which is great. It's great times too. Like I'm super excited to hear from Steven about all the changes with storefront, especially now. But Matthew Ball is the one who's going to sit with him. I'm like, holy cow.
That's going to be a good one. That's going to be a
great one. There was one more thing too that Tim pointed out that I said, like you spent all this time, all these years fighting, and what you're getting is like a percentage gain. You're going from a net 30% fee from the platforms to more like a net 20% now. And what was that worth it? But he pointed out that that's the change we got now. But what we've also introduced at this point is competition now for that 20% fee. And if the competition comes in lower, then there would still be more pressure on Google to actually lower the fee further. Before there was no competition, and so that's an interesting dynamic. Like the courts were not going to mandate, or manage the fees of Google and Apple, right? But they did want to introduce this competitive aspect into the mix, so that there would be pressure that would favor both developers and consumers here, right?
Yeah, that's awesome. So round of applause for Tim. He is really doing the work, right, for all of us there. So thank you very much to Tim and to Epic, right, for continuing to lead that charge. Super important and much appreciated, of course. Well, all right. Well, when talking about markets and competition, this was an interesting one that I hadn't seen before. Dean had brought this up, which is that Turkey makes moves to possibly ban Valve Steam and Epic Game Stores. So here we are on the other side of this. Dean, can you walk us through a bit of this story?
I guess one of the things they've asked the platforms to do is set up a representative office in Turkey. And this is one of the things that happened before they banned Roblox about a year and a half ago in Turkey. And then also last year, they banned Discord. And, there is a trend around the world where different countries are deciding to ban social media, especially for kids, right? And the threat to kids is often the flag that is carried here to censor and ban things in the world. The request, that's going out to the Turkish game companies and to the Turkish, or the platforms that are operating in these countries is a red flag that the developers are raising. They're trying to meet with the government. They've had a couple of different meetings with the government. There was one on Wednesday this week as well. And so they don't know yet what kind of impact they're having there, how much is the government hearing them that, this is a vital part of the economy. And Turkey is one of the leaders in game development, especially in mobile games, right? This is oriented towards, the PC platforms here. But quite often, the second platform of these mobile game companies is Steam, right? So I think it's something that they want to get ahead of this time, because quite often these decisions happen with very little public discussion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Mark, did you hear anything about this as well?
Nothing on the side. No. I mean, to me, the thing that I just immediately thought about was how the mobile game industry is what's super strong in Turkey. So it was interesting to have them come out against Steam, and
I
was like,
Discord and Roblox are like sort of part of the ecosystem, right? And, it's already clear they're willing to take those steps, to take out something that is important to their whole economy.
Yeah. It's super puzzling to me, and to some extent it feels protectionist, and that's like a tendency that I understand, even if I don't agree with, for like countries to be like, well, we want to have homegrown alternatives to these things, and when we have these big companies coming in here, we're never gonna get that.
And I get that, the world really needs to understand, though, distinctions between industries, right? Like there's social media is one industry, games are another. And gambling is a third.
Oh my goodness, yes.
The sort of addiction concerns that everybody has about, and also the concerns about protecting kids, right?
Yeah.
There's a certain set of arguments in social media. That's why Australia has banned, Facebook, etc. And there's a certain set of concerns everybody has about over monetizing, certain vulnerable populations through the addiction industries, right?
Right.
Games are squarely in the area of fun, especially if they stick to the core of that lane of fun. They could and should be okay, right? And where there's a blurry line on the addiction side, I think that's that's where some of these countries are very concerned. So I think
Sure.
this is something that should be on the radar of all the game companies.
Yeah. I'm a little exasperated about that whole conversation
Mhm.
around addiction and especially around social media for kids, because the conversation tends to be so fact free
Mhm.
and largely people arguing based on gut instinct and opinion, which is one way to do things.
Mhm.
That is
But I
one
always
way to
refer
do things.
I always refer back to the Oxford research, which by and large, points the other direction, that there's not really that much of a correlation. But everybody should educate themselves, and everybody can make their own decision. And of course, parents should do what they think's right for their kids.
Yeah.
But get facts.
Well,
Spoken like an ambassador for games.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, no, I mean, and the fact that it's art and it's protected speech and it's
Yeah.
all of these things,
All
right?
the things. It's all the things.
Yeah, it is all the things. And, the thing to remember is that any hobby, any pastime taken to excess is bad. And it's typically not the activity that's the issue. That is a symptom of typically an underlying set of stressors
Yeah, but
and things like that.
It's hard, right? I mean, for a parent, because I'm guessing that you guys, perhaps like me, overdid a little bit of game playing, and definitely I spent way too much time programming computers when I was a kid. If my parents had been concerned about that and stopped me from doing it, I probably wouldn't be doing what I am today. So thanks, parents. Yeah, see, exactly. Yeah, there you go, Chris.
Yeah,
I don't know,
I think for a while I was banned from in my house from reading comic books because I was getting too much into comic books. Right?
Yeah, so the challenge I have there, right, is, and this is the, I would say the overwhelmingly vast majority of the time that I had ever experienced that kind of friction by parents that I knew or parents that approached me to talk about it, right, was truly out of concern for the well-being of their kids, like not being dismissive of anything other than to say, well, how do I get my kids to stop playing Minecraft? And I'm like, have you ever sat down with your kids and asked them to show you what they built? Like, no, it's just a waste of time. And I'm like, do me a favor. And I just remember that this one, again, very well-intentioned, set of parents that I know. And so they did, they went off and they talked to the kids. And then when we saw each other again at an event, they were like, I had no idea what they were doing. I had no idea that they were building these crazy structures and showing us how they figured out how to set these traps and these systems, and how do they remember how to combine all of these things. I'm like, yeah, and they're like, yeah. So we've kind of eased up on that once we understood, and part of that is the fear, right, of what they don't know. This is the same type of moral panic that we've experienced through every generation, right? Of course, those of us growing up in the in the late 70s, mid 80s, right? We experienced that full on, right? To the point where they introduced legislation around how you advertise and how cartoons used to. The reason you have the more you know or knowing is half the battle was to comply with the regulatory stuff that was going on, right? So this is not new. The best thing we can do, right, is to continue to educate and continue to find ways to make it easier for parents to engage in those conversations, to better understand what their kids are doing, and play with them. Go play with your kids. It's one of the best things you can do as a parent, right? Is to play with them. And Jesse Schell talks about all that stuff, and that's like a series of 5-hour podcasts that we can talk about. Scarlett here says, are they banning sports too? Brought to you by DraftKings. It's like, yes, yes.
Right.
Polymart, anybody? Yeah. It's like, come on, just. So yeah. Anyway, all right. Let's go ahead and move on to something that's really super positive that we saw here is that Midway Games taps Microsoft's EA and LucasArts veteran for their chief operating officer. So Midwest Games has announced a major change to its leadership team as it aims to expand its publishing as a service model, and has picked up veteran video game executives as a new chief operating officer. Today, the company announced that Adam Orth will join as COO. Yay! All right, Adam and Ben, congratulations to the both of them.
Yeah.
Both just awesome human beings, wonderful advocates for the industry and for games. I couldn't be happier that Adam has joined Ben over there. Midwest Games has also brought in Cisco Maldonado and Charlotte Cook as executive advisors. Congratulations to them as well, to support key areas of its business strategy. Maldonado, whose background is in publishing and franchises, held senior leadership roles at NetEase Games, Bandai Namco, DC Comics, Warner Brothers, where he gained experience and growth. And Cook, the former global commercial director at the UK-based Team 17, amazing company as well, looks to bring expertise in scalable publishing operations and growth strategies. So congrats again to Ben and to the top-notch people that he continues to bring into Midwest Games. Couldn't be happier for them. So, yeah.
Great.
There was some other news probably most people may not have seen yet, but this morning Xbox put a tease out, and they unveiled something that they call Project Helix, which is their next generation console.
Yeah, we have a little something up there.
Yeah.
And that is the extent of the information about it.
That's right. That's right.
Which is amazing.
Project Helix will play PC games. And this, of course, is over there on gamesindustry.biz. Xbox CEO Asha Sharma says hardware demonstrates its commitment to the return of Xbox. Why it's returning, I have no idea. It's still there. But the comment, I think that where people were kind of confused, right? And if you have done PR before and communications like that, it is will lead in performance and play your Xbox and PC games. I think that's the statement that people went, wait, well, what is this? Is this a hybrid box? Like, what exactly is this going to be? Is this a Steam box type of thing, right? We all don't know. Everybody's speculating right now, right? So it'll be interesting to hear what they have, what they're building forward. And of course, we all have friends that are over there at Xbox doing amazing work and everything else. And, we want to continue to see them have a healthy business, and more competition in the industry is super important. So we don't know. We don't know what it means, right?
Bring your own memory sticks, though.
Sure. Yeah.
Right? It's just going to ship with empty DIMMs. You can plug it in.
Okay, but you know what it kind of reminded me of? The first thought that popped into my brain when I read it? Welcome to Infinium Labs and Phantom game console, which lets you play your PC games in your living room. Here's the funniest thing about the Phantom. For those that were back there during that time, they weren't wrong. Like, it's literally what everybody is doing right now, right? It was just too early at the time, and there was a lot of friction that was built up in there. We have good friends like Kevin Bacchus, right? And in fact, I had Kevin on stage at Java One talking about how we were going to make Java games enabled right through their storefront and everything. Epic was showing off games running on it as well. Like, they weren't wrong. They were just literally, 20 years too early, right? And maybe not the best place to execute against it. So nothing is new. Everything is cyclical. So anyway, that was the very first thing was, it's the Phantom. Awesome.
I was thinking about Windows CE on Dreamcast. That's where I went with it.
Well, our buddy John Goodall.
Keyboard mouse combo.
That keyboard honestly was awesome. Did you all try that when it was around?
Yeah, I would have just bought that.
They did try to go and sell that as a peripheral. I would have bought one. It was an awesome idea, an ergonomically awesome idea. But the problem was we didn't have still yet a need for PCs in the living room at that time, right? Or keyboard input and that kind of stuff. We do now. But in terms of them not being wrong, John Goodell says in here, to your point, Mark, he said they weren't wrong at all. They were ahead of their time, just like the Dreamcast was. Exactly right. Exactly right they were.
Cheers.
So anyway,
cheers,
so cheers to there. Yes, so we have that. We don't know any more than what we've just said, so we're going to wait. But I wanted to highlight another story that Mr. Takahashi put up here. Oh, here we go. Here we go, baby. Look at this. Oh, Angry Birds Friends debuts as a web browser game. Who said the web was dead? You all were wrong, because look what we're doing now. Oh, my goodness gracious. Right? So, yeah, Dean, you want to talk a little about that?
Well, yeah, I did an exclusive interview with them, and they talked about how I think that the technology has moved forward for web browsers with the HTML5 and new 3D formats built into them that gets you into. So they're starting out on Chrome, and they hope to make it to all the other big browsers as well.
Sorry. I figured I would storm off set because, damn it, I've been screaming about this for how long now? Right? There are many things I don't know anything about.
I played it, and it's a very good experience, right? I mean, the sound is actually excellent, right? And it's surprising, and it has to be very fast because of the physics of shooting the little birds into the blocks and things like that, and the pigs. So it's got that very familiar gameplay, and I think you would not be able to tell that this is on the web, I think, versus some downloaded game. And yeah, I think they also figured out that there's a better experience on a larger screen, as well, as you need to aim so much more precisely, and doing that on your phone with a game like this is it's kind of hard. Makes the game a lot harder.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's interesting that there isn't more of this happening. There's also the advantage of
you're killing me. You're killing me, man.
Nobody's intercepting your revenues, and nobody's intercepting your customers as well. They're going direct to you.
Yes. Yeah. And
yeah.
Yeah, and Mark knows where my head is on this. Again, these are all the same things that I've been talking about for over 15 years. And everyone's like, oh, no, you can't do this on web. And the thing is, we have to stop thinking about it as a browser experience. It's not. It's just using that as a container for delivery. And it turns out, guess what? With modern HTML5, you can get access to hardware, you can get access to memory, you get access to audio, you get access to caching, all the things you have if you were just to ship an executable. It's exactly the same thing. So it's wonderful to see them do this, because it can help to change the way people think about this as an opportunity to deliver full-on capital V, capital G video games, right, into the platform. And what I do love, about what Rovio is doing is they're not looking at any one particular avenue. They look at multiple avenues through which to go ahead and bring that brand. Mark, you had told us about your father-in-law, I think, playing Angry Birds Flock Party on Luna using his phone and being able to jump in. I think you said it was like the first video game he ever played, right?
Yeah.
Right? And being able to jump into it seamlessly is really awesome. So wonderful to see a company like Rovio with such an incredible brand, right? Really looking at how do we go ahead and light up and create moments of meaningful interaction, regardless of the device you're on. So congrats to Rovio and doing that.
It's totally reminding me, I feel like the challenge now and for the past few years really around web-based games has been more about how you successfully monetize and how you deal with varying technology level, performance levels, and then some control scheme challenges depending on each type of game. But all of that reminds me of the fact that the W3C, the World Wide Web Consortium, is a really, really good standards group around web-based games. And I've dropped in on their meetings a couple of times over the last 5 or 10 years, but haven't been super active. But like a group of really smart, amazing people building titles, pushing the limits of things. And so if anybody here is interested in that, go to w3.org and go find those guys and get involved.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have a website that I'm going to show later after we get through GDC news. So with that, we are already 10 minutes now, 11 minutes past the hour. Let's go ahead and jump into all things GDC. Who wants to start with Well, let's start with our good buddy Dean Takahashi and the stuff they're doing there. So, Dean, you already mentioned before GamesBeat Crossfire 2026. Here is the registration page on Luma. There you have, and people are talking about this like crazy right now because, yeah, you're going to bring some of that heat right to GDC. Tell us. Again, remind everybody what the Crossfire event is and who the big lineup, what the big lineup is that you have for.
Well, one of the speakers there is Susan Cummings.
Ooh,
yes. She'll be part of one of 4 different debates we're going to have. This one's about AI. I'm going to moderate it, and she's speaking with Rich Hilleman.
So you're going to referee it.
I think it's more of the gradation of like go fast with AI or go slow with AI.
Yeah.
And I think Rich is there to point out some of the things you have to think about before you dive in. I think, and Susan already has a game in the market, right?
Yeah.
So that's interesting. And
which excuse me, Dan, I know she's going to be also showing off the newest version of it at GDC. So if you're attending the conference, find her and
I think in a Google booth or something, right?
Yeah.
I forget.
Yeah, maybe we'll even just show it on the Boss Rush live stream when we do too. Ooh, that would be good. Okay.
We have a debate on the platforms as well, and a fireside with Brendan Green, who's also very passionate in his views about where the platforms are and what you can do about that as a developer. I think we have debates on sort of the UGC versus AA choice that developers have. Which direction should they move into? We have a panel that's going to sort of evaluate everything and sort of sum up all of the arguments. And there's a discussion on child safety as well. So we're kind of hitting a lot of those hot button topics that everybody's talking about.
Very good. Very good. Yeah, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to attend with just so much going on, but eager to hear all of the discussions after the fact, for sure. For sure. Yeah. And then,
I mean, as far as sessions I want to call out, I'm very interested in the one that Don Daglow is going to do on Monday morning, where, he's discussing 50 years of experience in games.
Yes. Where did I have that here? I have it in our notes here, and I'm trying to find it.
So it's 10:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. in the West Hall, room 2018.
You saw he's gonna get the Lifetime Achievement Award.
Okay, see, you're all just going ahead there. Why don't y'all shut up for a minute and
you were
let me go? Why don't
buttons,
you let me do my job and show you the damn articles there, for goodness sake? Okay. Thanks. That would be good. My God. See, listen, y'all. I do this for free. Just kidding. Yes. Mark, tell us about. Well, first of all, let's talk about our awesome buddy Don, and let's talk about both of these incredible advocates and leaders within the industry. So, Don is getting the Lifetime Achievement Award, which incredibly well deserved. One of the sweetest, most humble, engaging, charitable people we have, not just in games, that I've ever met. 55-year career covering over 100 games. One of the greatest storytellers that we have as well within the industry, and got his start into there, right, at Mattel during the 1980s as part of the Intellivision team and Blue Sky Rangers and all of that stuff. But, it is amazing to look at the work that he did, the first interactive baseball game, the first RPG on a non-classroom computer, the first RTS, one of the first MMORPGs use graphics instead of text. I mean, okay, what else? I was talking to Amir because we're getting prepared for a talk that we're doing there, and he's just like, when Don kind of says, "Oh, I did this and I did that," and Amir's like, "I think I had a bowl of Raisin Bran that morning," like, Don's like inventing all of this stuff, right? So, Yeah, wonderful.
He
And then you want to
made
talk
a really nice post on LinkedIn about Dawn.
Oh
So
yeah,
yesterday.
yeah, just
Yeah,
amazing.
that was
And then Mark, you
very
want to talk about Rebecca Heineman here?
Yeah, I don't. I didn't know Rebecca very well. I followed her. We knew her as Burger Becky
Yeah.
online, right?
Mhm.
But God, she has a huge, long history, of course, in games. But I think that people maybe know her better as is being a huge LGBTQ plus advocate
Yes.
and like a pioneer of
Mhm.
that in the game industry.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah. And well, I
that's
will
super
tell you,
interesting, I think.
what I discovered about her being here, working here at Amazon was, she also worked at Amazon for a period of time, and she was the chair of the diversity group that did focus on LGBTQ in the company. So I hadn't known that until later. We featured one of her games, of course, which is The Bard's Tale, in the Art of Video Games at the Smithsonian. And she was just an amazing storyteller, a prolific designer, an incredible programmer, and just a wonderful, wonderful person. And was just very, very sad to hear of her passing.
Yeah, she was like a co-founder of Interplay, right? And
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
that's how far back in the industry's timeline she went as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
decades of experience, really.
Yeah, I think what's really one of the best stories to tell, and this for another another time, is doing the port of Doom on the 3DO. And there's a lot of write-ups about this. And when she was hired to do it, the company that had hired her, that had gotten the license to do it on 3DO, said, "Oh yeah, we have kind of the game, we have the prototype and everything." They didn't. They had like images of what the game should look like. They had video of what the game should look like. And she's like, "Well, where's the code?" And they're like, "Oh, no. This is like, we have the game. Like, these are the things." And she's like, "That's not how games are made." And she had to build the game in something like 10 weeks. And so people are like, "Oh, it was a terrible." It's like a 10-week port to the 3DO. It was freaking amazing that she was able to do it by herself. I'm like, my God, man, it was amazing. So I'm so glad to see that that she's been given this award, and our best to her family and her friends, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that just awesome. All right, and then Dean, you have another talk that you're going to be doing there too. This is Mattel's Future of Play. I'm so glad that you're going to be doing this. I'm really going to try to get over there to see your talk. Tell us a bit about that.
Part of the Luminaries conference there, or sub-conference, I guess, that GDC is doing for the first time with executives. And so should be very interesting talking about Mattel's sort of renewed efforts to move deeper into gaming. They launched a couple of Uno games on Roblox and Fortnite last week, right? And so
I gotta try those still.
They're all in on gaming, and they're thinking about games across everything, like the brands they have, but with toys, they're moving into movies as well, sort of building on Barbie and all that. So very interesting to see them in that position, and also aggressively moving ahead of where the traditional game companies are on things like Roblox and Fortnite, right?
Yeah.
Those guys like EA, they're not there, right? And so the brands are just going straight in themselves.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, I'm so glad to see. I'm just, as a gray-haired gamer, I'm glad to see the Mattel name back in games again, right? And so that's just, I'm just going, "Ooh, what are they going to do next? Let's go. I can't wait to see." All right, what else do we have here? Mark, are there any sessions or things like that really kind of popped out for you? I know that all of them do, because you are completely, up to your neck immersed in all things GDC right now.
I am. What I realized this year was, I was thinking about this morning. There are more talks this year that I'm excited to see than I think maybe since the first time I went to GDC. And I think primarily that's because I'm so close to all of them in comparison. I mean, I've been on the advisory board on and off for, I don't know, 10 or some years, but this year I'm like, oh, I gotta go see that, and I gotta go see that, and I gotta go see that. And the downside is I'm probably not gonna see any of them because I've got lots of GDC stuff to do. We got some press interviews. We're gonna tour people around, and there's lots going on. But I did go through the culture and sustainability. So what used to be the advocacy track is now called cultural sustainability. And there's a bunch of talks in there that I'm really excited about. I'm going to give you an example. Pathways of Women Founders Shaping Indie Games in the Arab World has a whole bunch of amazing female founders from the Middle East, none of whom I know, and I'm excited to learn and hear about what they're doing.
If you can pop the link into the chat too, I can bring it up.
Good idea. Oxford's coming and giving a talk. Nick Ballou from the University of Oxford is going to come and talk about the 3 million hour study on healthy play. That's going to be amazing. Sam Glassenberg is going to come and talk about trying to fix diabetes through a video game.
That's awesome.
I mean, I could keep going and going and going, but I think I told Dean the ones that I always. Well, Don Daglow's talk is number one for me. I'm like, I wouldn't miss that for the world, right? Everything else is gonna take a back seat for that hour, so I can listen to Don. But then the kids roundtable is the second thing for me that I always, that I will never miss, because it's an amazing group of people doing incredible things and a community that needs places to rally and meet each other. And Carla, who runs it, is just super fantastic at running roundtables. So if you're at all interested in making games for kids, absolutely go to the Kids for Games roundtable.
Awesome. I love that.
And then, of course, Rob Pardo's keynote. How did I not start with Rob Pardo's keynote? I kind of took that as a gimme. Like, of course, I'm going to go to Rob Pardo's keynote.
Yes.
I might introduce Rob Pardo's keynote. I don't know. We're still talking about that. But I'm definitely going to be there.
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah, I had that one up here as one to definitely not miss. Can't wait to see that one, too. That's amazing. Absolutely amazing. So, yeah, very, very cool.
All right, I didn't pop that link up.
Yeah, pop that link up there. Yeah,
I don't even have the LinkedIn one open, so I'm like, I'll send it to you in the chat.
In a complete self-serving manner, I'm super excited about this. this conversation.
I've heard that's going to be great too.
Thank you. Yeah, because it's Amir, and we're going to have him there. Yay. And good, Dean.
Oh, I said yay!
Yay! Yes, yes. Yay. Let's go ahead and get a little cheering in there for them. Yeah, we're going to, Amir and I have been having the best time putting together this talk. I have no idea how we're going to do this in just an hour, but really this is a conversation we're going to focus on, where we are as an industry, but also the context and how we got here and some opportunities to think about as we go forward and why it's still the most amazing industry to be in, right? Even with all the pressures that we face, we get to work in making art that makes people happy, that brings people together, that is just, just amazing. So we're a little bit of a breath of fresh air of, yes, this is kind of happening around us, but damn it, it is still the greatest thing to do. And we're all, have the privilege of getting to do that. I'm also giving a talk on the future of video games is play. So if y'all make sure you don't miss that one, thank you. And this is a further distillation of some of those ideas into a more structured format and some predictions about where we're going to go in moving forward and some missed opportunities that the industry consistently whiffs on. So we're going to talk a bit about that too. What else do we have in here? So thanks for indulging me and letting me share those with you. So please go check those out. Then of course, how could I forget this one? The Boss Rush live podcast recording. Thanks everybody for coming by the podcast booth. So we're going to do that from 10 a.m. to 11:30. We're going to take what we've heard going on the show, sessions that we've liked, and we may even have a roving reporter, Darren Gladstone, out there in the quad with a mic and doing live interviews that we're going to go ahead and pipe into the live stream. So definitely go ahead and keep your eyes on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Twitch for all of that. So we have all of that stuff going on.
There's a lot. Yeah.
There is a lot.
Somebody said there
lot.
were 225 side events at GDC this year. So
Yes, I know.
All the show floor, 500 or so talks, and then 200 side events. It's gonna be a busy week.
It is going to be a busy week. So, I love, when we get together and we talk about what we're looking, most forward to at GDC. Mark is wonderful at really putting a lens on what's happening globally and showing all these communities stuff. Mine always goes back to history, right? Because that's just kind of where my brain is focused on. And so this one I'm looking forward to. What's new in game history 2026 with people that are at the forefront of game preservation and industry preservation for us. Of course, Phil Salvador, who is the library director of the Video Game History Foundation. Full disclosure, I'm a founding advisory board member and current advisory board member for that organization. But also Jason Scott is going to be there. And if you want to go ahead and get an unfiltered rundown of game preservation, this is the group to go ahead and do it. So I'm super excited about that. Expanding the 30% directing game access in game education. I think it's going to be a really, really interesting one as well. So yeah, definitely go check that one out. Remaster, reboot, and reinvent case studies in the Wizardry IP revival. Have you all played the Wizardry stuff? No?
Well, not since I was 15.
Right. So our good friends over at Digital Eclipse worked to go ahead and do the kind of the Wizardry remastered stuff. And what they did was, and it's what they do so damn well, is when you're playing this beautifully, rendered Wizardry environment, it's the actual game code running underneath. So it's the game code from decades ago, the same exact game, but now repainted with all this stuff. And it's just so much fun to play. So it's, as we think about the back catalog of content and how do we bring that back forward and reimagine it for new audiences, I think that's going to be a great one. And then I've got, I think, one more in here, an Odyssey. Oh, it's Rob. So that's it. Those are the ones that I've got, apart from all the other stuff that I've overcommitted to at this show.
Yeah, so much.
We're going to be doing.
I have to run off soon. I did want to mention my game I played. I did play.
We're going to
Marathon.
talk about games. Hold on, don't do that yet. Here are the games that Dean is playing. Okay, now you can do it.
All right. But yeah, I played a bit of Marathon. That was interesting. That was out yesterday. But also, we did one of our in-game interviews again. The second one we've done. First one was Arc Raiders, and this time I played The Last Flag, and I played it with the Imagine Dragons brothers. So Dan Reynolds, the lead singer of Imagine Dragons, is the chief creative officer at their game company, which is Night Street Games, and we did a 5v5 shooter, capture the flag battle, a few battles. At the same time, I was doing an interview with Dan and his brother Mac Reynolds, who's the CEO of the company. So that was actually a lot of fun. It was like, I think it's kind of a hilarious format for interviews, right? And,
I love that. Yeah.
The harder thing about this is in a more intense shooting game than Arc Raiders, it's harder to concentrate on the gameplay while you're interviewing someone. So that's fun.
That is good though.
Mm-hmm.
It shows. So Dean, did you have the skills to pay the bills?
No, I think there was I think one match where I had 0 kills, right? And I was just trying to stay out of everybody's line of fire, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it was it's there's a lot of variety to it, and you don't have to be the best shooter, right, to actually contribute to the team. Like if you go and you hold down one of the tower points, or if you actually find the flag and bring it back to your base, these are things that you can accomplish in the game that aside from just getting the highest kill count. So that's what's interesting about Capture the Flag.
Very good. it reminds me of a time when Mark and I were playing Fortnite, when this is going back a couple of years ago, and we had jumped in and we were kind of communicating, and we were like, yeah, maybe we should avoid those skirmishes over there. Let's see how long we can last. And so we were just either camping and pulling off
shots. Mention too, we had Zoid, who wrote the original Capture the Flag mode for Quake, playing with us, and Mark Chandler as well. And when I was like bogging down, they were asking questions of these guys too.
Nice. Nice. Oh, that's very good. Very cool. Well, Dean, I know that you have to run over to your next meeting. So good to see you, buddy. I know that you're going to be slammed there at GDC, but super happy that you're going to be able to join the live stream there. And of course, we'll make sure that we get you over for the evening live stream, which again, I'll post more information about that on LinkedIn as we kind of get into the weekend here. But thank you so much, buddy. Have a safe, well, you don't have a trip. You're driving in to have a safe drive, safe walk, safe jog to GDC, and stay healthy. And I'm waiting for the Dean posts of, I published 92 articles today. And I'm like, how do you do it?
More like, hey, I met with 92 people this week.
That's very true. Very true. All right, Dean, we will see you. We'll see you next week.
Buddy.
All right, take care.
All right, thanks.
Okay, so that means, it's me and Mr. Delora get to hang out for a little bit here.
Hey.
What are you playing, buddy?
Spreadsheet bingo and email craziness. How about you?
Yeah, a little bit of that. A little bit of that too. But since we were talking about the web and we were talking about history, I stumbled upon this website, which I briefly put up here. I don't know if you saw this. Did you see this interactive journey through the web? Oh, let me see. Hold on. I have Dean in there instead of Mr. Delora. So you hang tight, Mark. And I'll make sure. Yeah, you just hang tight there. I'm going to make sure that we get you. There you are. There you are, buddy. Let's see. Let's get Mark in here. Beep. There he is.
Oh,
there you are. There you are. I only set the first scene, not the second scene, with you as the principal there. Have you seen this yet? This web rewind?
Awesome.
Okay. So check this out. So you can control the whole thing here, and we're going to walk through a little bit of this. I was like, all right, this is better than it has any right to be.
Yeah, it already is. It looks beautiful.
Right? Okay, here we go. Let's hold that space bar to rewind.
(2013) 6-second attention span.
Vine gave the world looping 6-second videos and accidentally invented.
All right, let's tap to brain rot here.
Storytelling is compressed into tiny, endlessly replayable chunks. The app died young, but its DNA runs through almost every video feed that we spend our time scrolling through today.
Wow.
Okay, we have all these different brain. Now let's hold the space bar to discover the next thing.
2003.
MySpace.
My rule.
Yes.
The world's first widely adopted.
Look
social
at how good this is. And
profile
all
that
of
you choose your
these, you can
anthem, forces
rotate
you to
around
top
and
friends,
Who made this?
and
zoom in.
encourage you to
Opera.
express yourself through
Oh, really?
new
Yes.
Oh, good job,
customization.
Yes.
Even to the
So
point
let's
of where
customize
your
our
own
profile.
too many falling emojis or flashing wallpapers.
And going through this, I was like, this is just like a warm cup of digital chicken soup, right?
Yeah.
It's like, all right. And I love it. If you don't hold the space bar, it does the rewind sound and then backs it down. So listen. Let's see how far back this thing is going to go. Here we go. Into peer-to-peer.
P2P file sharing.
So let's hold that space bar to download a song.
Songs, movies,
And what happens?
games, so long
Oh,
as
all of these
Oh.
pop-ups.
Oh, that's awesome.
Right? Oh my gosh. Oops. Oh yeah, there we go. We can close all these down here and check all this out. So good. So good. And you can hold your space bar to download the song, and then we can just discover the next.
there you
Let's
go.
see where we go. We'll go back just a couple of more here. I love it. Absolutely love it.
Okay, so it's random. It's not chronological.
2012, the
Tinder.
internet moved faster than ever.
Yes. Oh my God. Right? Let's swipe.
Nice.
Ridiculously
Nice.
photogenic guy.
Freshly launched Tinder epitomized the moment.
Gangnam Style. Overly attached girlfriend. Like all of these memes,
Oh,
right?
copycat.
It's a match. And yeah, and of course, you know. All right, let's discover what the next one is. I know there's a couple of really good ones here we need to go through. Let's see.
1995.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Okay, y'all. This
Yeah.
is the one. For those of you that were there during these wars,
Browsers came on floppies.
you ready?
Going online
Let's go
required
turn that
sole
PC on.
use of both the family computer
Get your
and the
nice
house
DOS
landline.
boot screen
So
there.
dial up and
And then
connect
let's
to the
insert
World
that
Wide Web.
floppy. Oh, how good is that sound? And then we
Nice.
plug in the internet. Here we go, everybody. Hang on. Let's see.
You have mail. It's got to do that.
So good. Oh my God, it's so good. All right, let's see. What does it take us to next? There you go. You are now looking at all of those glorious geospace. And then you have all these different errors
wow.
that you could jump into. So somebody
What
go
ones
ahead.
did you miss?
What's that?
What were the exciting ones that we missed?
All right. Yeah. So let's
That
see.
you like? There's a Polaroid camera. There's a that's like a Palm Pilot, maybe.
Yeah, but
as
why
mail.
do we have a Polaroid camera? Why do
Oh.
we have a Polaroid camera in there in 2025? Because it is all about friction maxing now. Right?
Oh, what do you? I don't know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
You're talking about the kids with the Polaroids and the iPods.
And iPods and VCRs and all of these things where they're saying, I am going to now capture these things or use these with purpose, not through a generalized tool. So every picture I take, I'm thinking about and it's meaningful.
Everything was back. Everything was better in the old days.
Not everything was
Music's
better.
not as good.
Not everything was better in the old days, but it's almost a way to silence the cacophony of
Yeah, well, that's
access to
definitely true.
everything, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I
true.
think this is probably a good one here. Let's see. What is it? You've been to 5 artifacts so far.
Web in your
There you go.
Prior to
Oh,
2002,
look at that.
there were two very
Oh.
different web experiences.
Yeah, there
The
were 2
full
different web
on
experiences.
computers and a usually
Let's
broken,
LOL.
mostly text version on mobile.
There you go.
Alpha
Yeah,
was
you
the
could
first
zoom in and
browser
out
to
on
bring
all of
the
it.
full web to mobile
Such a
devices. The genesis of what became
oh my gosh. Yeah. This is just
That's
amazing.
pretty
Just
great.
amazing.
What's the website?
It is called web-rewind.com. I will go ahead and pop
look at
that
that
down
later.
here into the chat. Web-rewind.com. So yeah, awesome of Opera to do this. Like it's just what I mean. It's obviously right. It's driving traffic to them. Good on them for all of that. But man, what a gift!
Yeah.
What?
Yeah,
a
it doesn't have to
gift.
be that good. It's a labor of love.
Yeah. Oh, let's see what happens when I do this thing.
What?
What?
Providers like AOL,
Yes.
Hotmail, and Yahoo. A time before
So
push
good.
notifications,
So
you had to log
good.
into your account and
Anyway,
click
yeah,
check
there
mail
you go.
to see your
That
inbox.
is Web Rewind. That is the rabbit hole that my brain fell into going,
I love it.
what's next? And then you can also submit your own memories of the web to them. And then they may add them as components to all of the things that it does, right? Just amazing.
I found in the like continual adventure of me going through the things at my parents' house, which was my house when I was a kid, now that they passed away.
Yeah.
One of the things that I found was the Zoom modem. I
Oh
think
my
it's a
gosh.
I'm not sure what speed it is, but it is huge. I forgot how big some of those old modems were.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
it's bigger than my laptop. It's gigantic.
Okay. All right.
I have the smaller ones, like the little US robotics ones we did later, little 56K
Yeah.
modems, right? I had a bunch of those over time. I had the Hayes modem, which was metal with a black front. It was like 2400 baud. But this Zoom modem, I mean, it is. Sorry, Bowser. It's huge.
Yes.
And it's not an acoustically coupled one either. It's like a 1200 baud Zoom modem that was attached to a dumb terminal, which I also found, which is very exciting.
It's awesome. Oh, you did?
Yeah, I was
What
like,
what
"Aw."
was the dumb terminal?
Did. Well, it's when I was in college at University of Washington. We had for a short period of time an AT&T 3B2, if I remember correctly, little mini computer, and he had a dumb terminal attached to it at home, and I used it to dial up into the University of Washington's mainframe computer, and sometimes access CompuServe.
There you go.
Which also worked. But yeah, so it's just like I don't know what it is. It's not like a VT100 or something. It's a multiple component dumb terminal. It's not like one of those Heath 19s or Zenith
Yeah.
19s
Or
anyway,
like
I'll-
Weiss dumb
I'll bring it
terminals,
here.
Wang
And the
dumb
Weiss ones
terminals.
were nice.
right?
Yeah, the big TI graphics ones were pretty cool and weighed a ton. Yeah.
All
I
right, so
loved all
and now we're going to start mentioning stuff that there's a certain segment of the people that are here that will remember things like Pine email.
Yeah, well,
Right.
that was written by a guy at the University of Washington.
There you go, right?
Yeah,
Or BI.
One of the IT guys. VI, yeah. Now you're going back.
There
Yeah.
you go,
I
buddy.
spent so much time playing Rogue and Moria and Omega.
And who was that
Reddit.
written by?
All the awesome people.
Bill Joy.
Was it? Oh, I didn't know that.
Mm. And then, do you remember that beast?
Oh yeah, look at that.
That right there was the Ferrari of modems. And what I will tell you is I worked at this company in the Northern Virginia area in the early 1990s called Soft Warehouse. Soft Warehouse was a massive, like big box store type of computer store. It eventually became CompUSA.
Nice.
Right.
Oh, okay.
And
Yep.
so I remember when we got those moments. I also remember some kid like stealing a 1 gigabyte hard drive that was literally, like 10 pounds, right? This
Yeah.
big. And that's
Yeah.
back when you had to get, which drive do you need? An MDF or do you need an MFM drive? Right. And so you need different cards and they're hard jumper to different IRQs and stuff like that. So this kid, he steals his like $1,400 1 gigabyte drive and then calls back to the service department posing as a customer going, yeah, I'm having trouble setting this up. What do I need to do? And they're like, there were 2 in the store. There's only 1 now and we didn't sell any. So I was like, oh my
We'll come over
God.
and fix it for you. Where do you live?
Exactly. It's like, oh, you stupid knuckleheads. All right, go ahead and bring up another memory. I'm going to look up something here for everybody.
Oh yeah, I was just thinking about my like path into games was because at the University of Washington we had this team of people who hung out together on an online text chat called BB bulletin board, and a bunch of those people modified the games like Rogue and Moria and Omega to add unique custom features, and then they would share it back out with the internet or not. But they were all people would. When we got new mainframes, we would try to recompile them and push them over to the new machines. And so this was like a group of awesome, nerdy, computer sciencey people who kind of, because they were passionate about games, were like learning how to port things around and learning to become better programmers and all of this. It was just like a great group of people. So that's how I fell into games. And some of those people went on to make the company called Omni Group. Yeah, and they still exist. They're still there. They're here in Seattle.
That's insane. All right, I found the article I wanted to share with you. You ready? Enthusiasts bond 12 56K modems together to set up dial-up broadband records. A dozen screeching box achiever records 668 kilobit download speeds.
That's hilarious.
When people say I can hear a picture.
Yeah, me too. Yeah,
and
right.
You can smell that picture, right?
Yeah.
So amazing, so amazing. It's just absolutely crazy. A dozen screeching boxes, so good. Check it out at tomshardware.com. We'll go ahead and pop the link here into the chat for everyone. So good, so good.
Yeah,
And
I love all this stuff.
I know.
Yeah.
So now what are we doing? What's the term we should create here? Are we nostalgia maxing? Are we old maxing?
We are.
What are we doing?
I'm not really super driven to like keep any of this stuff though,
No.
except as like to put it on the shelf. I have gotten rid of a few things that later I've regretted getting rid of, but you know, I'm very happy to have a cable modem next to me that does 2 gigabit up or 2 gigabit down. I'm like,
Yep.
don't take me back to the days of dial-up, but
Yeah. I
but I
don't
do
want
love
that.
looking at it. Yeah.
Yes. But I love the fact that we are, you know what, maybe it's also part of why game development speaks so much to us, right? Is watching what people do when they take this old hardware and going back and then creating new games that were never created during the era in which those systems existed or when they were new, right? Because they didn't know how. And so as we learn more and people go back and create these things, it's crazy. I know we mentioned it last week, but you know, Micah over there at, Micah, awesome, Micah. In the Atari 50th collection, there's a version of Berserk for the 2600 where he has all the voice samples in there, and it would run like on the hardware. If you dumped it to a ROM, EEPROM, you could run on the hardware. It's like, how did you figure out how to do it? It's because we get better, right, over time. So I do love when people go back and repurpose this stuff.
There's also one of the you're just reminding me. I was sitting here thinking about this is, you know, as I have conversations with people about using Claude Code and doing lots of vibe coding lately, and some folks talked about that as like moving up the Maslow's hierarchy towards having, you know, more capabilities in engineering. I continue to think back on, do you remember the game TIS 100? Is this a game you ever played? It's a genre of I'm trying to remember the name of the company. I can't believe I'm spacing out. There's a company that was making lots of coding related video games. So this game was like, here's this imaginary computer and here's the manual and here's the opcode set, and you're going to be faced with a bunch of basically programming tasks to solve.
Right.
And I thought it was super geeky and fun, and I really enjoyed doing it. And one of the little curious things that they did, which was very clever, was have a leaderboard. And I saw that, you know, I was solving these challenges and I was writing the code and, you know, having success and getting decent scores and whatever. And I kept looking and seeing Ed Freeze's name in the leaderboard, continually kicking my ass. And I was like, how are you possibly making that code run faster? And it just reminds me that, like, you know, people who were trained up when cycles were more important, they have this elite set of skills that I don't have. And so I'm thinking about moving up the Maslow's hierarchy, and I'm like, I still really enjoy being at the bottom of the Maslow's hierarchy. like writing that code is so much fun. I don't want to have to do it all the time, but those skills are, you know, just seeing.
Yeah, because it's the difference between outputting something that people can play or utilize. It's another thing to go back and solve a fundamental problem that makes it even better, right? And so Ed, you know, we did the Art of Video Games. He had a comment that was actually adorned the wall of the exhibition at the Smithsonian. It said, writing code is like poetry. Every character matters. And I'm like, that is exactly right. That's exactly right. And so, it's how do you go back and you squeeze these machines to do stuff that they were never supposed to be able to do, right? And all of those things that we discover in doing so can be brought forward into modern programming, right? As we learn efficiency, just because you have virtually unlimited memory, sounds like PS3. The SPUs, right? Or were they PPUs?
Yeah.
Were they PPUs? SPUs, right? Virtually unlimited bandwidth and throughput.
I was thinking about that the other day. I remember calculating the number of teraflops PS3 was capable of, and being so excited that it was like, I think it was like just barely over 1 teraflop. I was like, this machine's going to be amazing. And like a couple of days ago, there was a picture of the AI hat for the Raspberry Pi.
Yeah.
And the AI hat is like 25
teraflops. For how much?
Yeah.
$100.
Yeah. I was like, what the hell?
I love it. I love it so much. All right. Speaking of the retro stuff, check out this one from Linus and Linus Tech Tips.
Oh, yeah.
This is one of the coolest gaming setups that I've ever seen, and the phone might be the coolest part. It starts with a 16-core Ryzen processor on a Minis 4 motherboard with a Pico PSU, all crammed into a NES chassis. But that is far from the coolest part. You want to change your entire operating system? All you need is one of these cartridges with an NVMe SSD inside. Cast our little whale mascot. Whaleland is brought to you by ThreatLocker. We've got what might be the best part, a GPIO link to an external GPU that's sitting inside this retro CRT style modded monitor. And the bunny ear style antennas? Whoa. But what's that? It's gaming, and it's for you. Get wrecked, scrubs.
Who made this and how can I give him a hug?
Ever seen.
That's amazing.
And I'm like, okay, something else I need to now build for myself? I'm trying to get rid of stuff.
GDC.
I'm trying to get rid of it.
Oh, gosh.
All right, so
I just looked up TIS 100. I feel negligent because the game is a Zachtronics game is what I was trying to remember. All the Zachtronics games were amazing, and you should definitely go onto Steam and look up Zachtronics.
Yeah, we talked about this. We talked about this actually last Boss Rush. So last call BBS here.
Yeah, last call BBS.
That's exactly what it was. We were talking about this. So the best part about, well, not the best part, they're great games, right? Is that when you when you are connecting in this thing, right, to download your games there, it mimics the actual speed that it would have taken to download those from a BBS back in this era. And I believe this was the last game that he did. 20th Century Food Court, Steed Force, The Forbidden Path, Saoyama Solitaire, Dungeons and Diagrams, Chip Wizard, Hack and Match, and Kabufuda Solitaire. So good, right? It's just, it's needlessly amazing.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right.
Right? It's so good. All right, listen, as we're wrapping up, because I know we only have about 10 minutes left here. So we were thinking back on our nostalgia and time in the industry. And I was thinking back to my first GDC. I'd love to hear a bit more about what you remember about your first GDC, Mark. Like, tell me, like, where were you at the time? Yeah. You know, what were the things that you were doing there?
Yeah, the thing that I remember, well, there's like 2 or 3 things that pop up. So, like, I was at Nintendo. I was a lead engineer on Nintendo 64 in the US, in the dev support team that went out and talked to developers about how to make the console better, and
right,
blah blah blah, make your games better. And so my first GDC, the first talk that I remember going to, this is the thing that's stuck in my brain, was I went to a talk on the game Creatures.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we talked about AI.
It was like they reminded me of little computer people from before that.
But they were little fuzzy creatures with big feet.
Little fuzzy creatures with DNA, simple DNA, and influenced how they walked around on the screen, and they were autonomous, and they had kind of sensors, so some could see well, some couldn't, some could hear well, some couldn't, and you would cross them, and then their offspring would have different characteristics, and so the AI programmer for Creatures came and gave a talk at GDC, and I was just blown away that here was this game that I thought was amazing, and the developer was coming and like spilling all their secrets to all of us. I was like, what kind of industry is this? This is amazing. That's the thing that sticks in my head about GDC, and it's still why I love GDC. I mean, yeah, this industry, what other industries do this? No other industries that I know of all show up at a conference and we're like, this thing that I spent the last 5 years making, let me tell you all the secrets.
Right.
I mean, you can't reproduce it, right? It's not like you're going to go out and like, oh, he said to do this and I'm going to do that. But we all learn from each other and stand on the shoulders of giants. And that's how this industry grows.
Yeah, 100%. I don't know of another industry too, where the person who made games that, changed an industry may be standing behind you at Starbucks, waiting in line to grab a coffee like everybody else. Yeah. I know. And so that's one of the things about the conference, right, is you need to lean in, engage, say hello, be respectful, right, be open, because you don't know who's going to be there. All right, so I've got a story for you about Creatures. So Creatures, which was, I think, made by Microprose. It was either Microprose or Mindscape. It's one of the two.
Ooh, yeah, one of them.
Right, with the one with the rainbow kind of like boop. So what you could do with creatures was if you copied your creature to a floppy disk, you could send it into the company, and then they would send you back a basic list of all of the progression, right? The evolutionary and like generational information about that creature. And what had happened was there was a story that came out about this person who sent in the disc because a creature was born dead in the game. And so it turned out that it wasn't dead. It was deaf, blind, and mute. So we couldn't interact. It went through all of these, all these different generations, and those were the traits that were passed down to it. But the fact that we could do things like that, right? Even early in those errors. So a lot of times we're talking about, oh, look at all the amazing stuff AI can do. Yes, a lot of it's amazing. Not at all surprising, right? Because so there was another game called Galapagos, which the main character was Mendel, the spider. And so what you had to do is you had to manipulate the environment for Mendel to be able to make it to the exit. And they showed, I think it was like NURBS was like it was called like a NURBS model that they were using. And they showed how like over time, how the decisions would spread across this sine wave, right?
Yeah, NURBS.
NURBS, that's it, NURBS, right. And not NURBS, right. And so what they did was, what they found in early programming was that, Mendel would walk forward and he'd fall into the fire, the lava, and die, right? And eventually it learns like, oh, that's a bad thing. And at some point during development, they found that Mendel would just, when he would start, he would just back up into a corner and just sit there. And they were like, okay. So what they had to do was program this to say, okay, the longer he sits, the more in pain and uncomfortable it becomes. So he has to move. So now you've got the friction between the pain of not moving and the threat for survival right in there. Right. And this is 30 years ago, right? Like, so again, when we're talking about game development and AI, it's nothing new. Right. Yeah, so just be careful who's, hawking all this stuff. But I do remember my first GDC, of course. But the first real one that I would say real one, because the one I went to as an industry professional was when the Xbox was launched. It's also, I've got the picture that I have to unearth somewhere of me, you, and a bunch of the old guard there, Susan Kirby and Smarsh and all of them. I know I have it somewhere with my frosted band boy hair and
digital photos.
Exactly. And here's the Swatch watch that I had right there. This was straight up from straight from 2000. This is the Dreamcast Beat Time watch from Swatch. So I have 4 watches that I'll be wearing different times around GDC. So if you're there, and we see each other. Number one, selfies, of course, selfies. Yeah. Every time, because it's important to remember where we are, who we were with, and the privilege we have to work together. But then also, hell yeah, of course I've got a bunch of freaking watches. But that's going to go ahead and I think wrap it up for. Oh my goodness, that's loud. We're coming in hot.
Whoa.
Yeah. I'm not going to have all of my mixer and stuff. Although I think I may have mentioned to you, I dumped an entire cup of water into this mixer by accident. It's dried off and it seems to be working fine. But yeah, we'll kind of see. Yeah, John Goodell right there. Selfies and hugs, of course, buddy. That's exactly right. But I want to thank my co-host today, of course, Dean Takahashi and Mark DeLaura for joining us. And Susan, of course, safe travels over here from the UK. Mark, I hope you get some rest, buddy. It's going to be a long week. I know we're not going to have you for the entire time when we do the live at the show because you're going to be all over the place doing all kinds of crazy stuff. But we'll make sure that you're in the room for the evening live. Yeah, because that one is going to be that one will be something. So with that, it's going to get us out of here. Thanks everybody so much for your time. Thanks for spending 90 minutes with us. If you made it all the way to the end today. We hope you have an awesome rest of your day, an incredible weekend, and make sure you keep
Play
on,
some
you know,
games.
LinkedIn, stuff like go play some games. Let us know what we should be playing. Hit us up on LinkedIn. Let us know. And yeah, a lot more to come for next week. So thanks, everybody.
Yeah.
Bye.